Oh,
Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? Coming to you live on this Saturday afternoon, hot Saturday afternoon in Syracuse. Oh, oh, hold up. Oops. Sorry for the echo, yo. But coming to you live on the Saturday night, like I said, a hot Saturday afternoon in Syracuse. Abita's live in Philadelphia, but we are right now the Crossover Sports Podcast, episode 95, inching closer and closer to 100 episodes. This is a momentous week for me because I'm going in next week for my last week of summer classes of grad school. Praise the Lord, I am making it through. We'll get a little break, then it's back to reality on the 27th. But excuse me, but Amina, go ahead and reintroduce yourself. Amina, you there? Hmm.
yeah, I'm here. I had to mute myself, and I was trying to decipher what you were saying because it was kind of staticky. Okay, but hi everyone. This is Amina reintroducing myself to everyone from the grand city of Philadelphia, and we have some nice topics to talk to today. And the summer is winding down, much to Colin's dismay, but much to my joy. But hey, let's keep it rolling. Mhm.
I just like to say, sound better now. I just like to say, screw Winter. Nobody likes Winter except for Winter babies, and she's not a Winter
Sure,
baby.
mate.
She's not a Winter baby, but it is what it is. All right, y'all. As we always, we don't really have a hot take, but our first question today is on that boy Urban Meyer who has stepped in it again. Our reaction to Meyer being put on paid administrative leave for knowing about abusive past of one of his assistant coaches. A reaction to that. Go ahead.
This story broke out in the media a few days ago. Well, the deeds or actions of the case supposedly happened around 2015ish, so not too long ago. But it just surfaced like media wise, like within a this recent week, August 2018. Kind of it's been discovered that was believe it was their football coach, I believe he was, knew some allegations that his one of his assistant coaches had been involved in a domestic violence situation with the assistant coach had been involved in a domestic violence situation with his wife, as far as like a married couple situation. And from what I gathered, reading the reports, it wasn't dealt with, and it was some type of abuse along with it, and it was pushed under the rug, and it just boiled over, and here we are. And it's coming from Ohio State University, which is one of the Big Ten universities in the country, along with Penn State and Michigan State. So when I really think about these situations with these Big Ten schools, it's seven others that I didn't mention. But I tend to think what's really going on in these Big Ten universities that so many people, especially athletes, want to go to. Like behind the scenes, like the culture, the mindset. Like, why is it always the Big Ten universities lately? First, we had the Penn State situation almost 10 years ago. Then, quite recently, about last year, up until this year, we got the Michigan State situation. Now we got Ohio State. Okay, what is going on here? We got child sex abuse. We got Olympic participants being abused. We got folks' wives that aren't safe. Big Ten universities. What's going on with you all? It just goes to show that these colleges and universities are out of their mind these days. Scandal after scandal, controversy after controversy, and it just got to end. Like, yo, if you were supposed to report something that you knew that one of your assistant coaches was doing to his wife, and you seen it, you heard it, you had proof of it, and you did nothing, you're just as guilty. Guilty by association. And I'm not a lawyer, but what I do know from watching crime shows and studying situations is that if you are an accomplice or associate or present when something is going on and you don't open your mouth or say something, you're just as guilty as the person that did it or said it. So you didn't say anything, you didn't do anything, you're just as guilty as him for doing what he did to his wife. So at some point, people have to accept responsibility for what they do or don't do in life. And these are grown people. These people are not, teenagers where you expect them to do stupid shit. But these are grown people in their 40s, 50s, 60s that should know better in life. But apparently, they don't. And it goes to show about the saying, age is not a factor, which is true. Age don't mean nothing until you learn how to wise up in life. But it's just unfortunate. Another Big Ten school in the country got something negative attached to it. I hear that the coach is on administrative leave. The last I read about the situation, and they got some replacement for him, taking over for a while, and it's just messy because this is August, and this is the time of the year when college football is just getting started. The NFL just getting started, and you want this attached to before your season even officially starts. Like, wow, this is interesting. Like, you going into your season, you got controversy and a stigma and and a scandal. Not during, not at the end, but going into it, so it'll impact possibly, a game attendance or whatever. This stuff got to end at these colleges and universities. It seems like every day something is going on at campus that shouldn't be. Why? It doesn't have to be like this. Just stop doing stuff. Start opening your mouth and reporting things. Kylie, you can go.
This is what happens. I feel like I say this every time we talk about a college doing something wrong. Um, this is what happens when you value winning over morals. You Urban Meyer turns out has been living on some borrowed time for a while. Apparently, he also had some things going on in Florida, uh, where that was concerned. He had some things going on in Florida as far as uh, what was I going to say? As far as some domestic violence, some people will remember Chris Rainey. He's a running back in Florida. He got into something, and it never went anywhere because he was stalking his girlfriend, saying that he might kill her or something, threatened to kill her and stuff like that. And because it was the University of Florida, he didn't really get anything. I don't think anything really came of that. Plus, Urban Meyer was given cover because at that time on that football team, he had Tim Tebow, the person who covered all sins when it came to the Florida Gators program. He also had cover because around them was also the time that the University of Florida had Billy Donovan as a coach. They had Joakim Noah, Al Horford, and a bunch of other players on that team. And they were winning titles, and he had cover there. But at Ohio State, I guess, It's a shame because this woman had to prove that they knew about it, and it turns out his wife knew about the domestic abuse. So therefore, it's not a stretch to then think that maybe Urban Meyer didn't know. They said that they put them in counseling, that they were having counseling, so they knew about the domestic abuse stuff. And yet Urban Meyer hired this man anyway. This stems back from something that happened at Florida. This guy did this back in Florida, and then he took him with him to Ohio State. And now, because of the Me Too movement, because of the cultural shift that is happening on these college campuses, looks like Urban Meyer might be out of a job. And it couldn't have happened to a nicer man, because Urban Meyer, like I said, he's one of those people who thinks, he probably thought, oh, I'm bigger than college football. I'm bigger than the university. I can do this. Nobody will know. And now it's out there. You coaches, NBA, NCAA, college basketball, college football, y'all need to understand that in these movements now, these college cultures are changing. No longer will rape culture be allowed on college campuses. So if you are a coach and you have players or coaches on your staff that have done anything to women, and it gets out in the public and it looks bad for your university, expect to be fired. Sure, Urban Meyer's on paid administrative leave, but that's because he's Urban Meyer, right? He's a college football legend as far as coaching. That's the only reason. National championship. That is the reason why he's on the administrative leave. The rest of you won't be. So just get that through your head. Come the next time stuff like this happens. Just get it through your head. It's not going to be good for you, but it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good for you when the stuff hits the fan. Especially if you're doing some dirty stuff, it's not going to be good for you. And like I said, these coaches need to change. I mean, I'm tired of always doing these stories. Like, I really am. I'm tired of having to report these stories, write about my Watson Sports Takes, write about them here at Syracuse, doing stuff that has stuff to do with this. I'm so tired of this. I really am. Like, I have not been writing on Watson Sports Takes as much as I would like because of school, but in a minute I'll have a break, so I'll be catching up on stuff that I haven't caught up on yet. But I am so tired of this. Like, Urban Meyer was done in by the culture. For real, that's what got him. It was the culture. And the fact that he left a trail. The woman proved that, they knew about it. And now he's eventually going to be out of a job. He's on paid administrative leave, but he's going to be out of a job. And now his legacy is ruined, all because he took a chance on somebody who he never should have taken a chance on. Should have kept it moving, Should have just kept it moving and said, I'm going to get another wide receiver coach who won't bring me down. Should have just kept it moving. But no, Urban Meyer just had to dance with caution one more time, and now he might be out of a job. And like I said, it's you coaches, you administrators, you presidents of universities, you really have to think about the hiring decisions you make from now on. Because if you don't, you're gonna end up like Urban Meyer. This should be a lesson to you. You are definitely going to end up like Urban Meyer. So moving right along to our next one. Abida, you got any comment for these pastors that went and met with President Trump, 45, and prison reform, or any of the comments that came as a result of that? You go right ahead.
DJT, President Trump, about prison reform with the black pastors. I wish we would get more, not a whole lot of media attention or any at all, but I wish we would get attention and conversations amongst people, because this basically happened under the rug. Like, it just popped up like, boom, here we go. The last time a president focused on prisons involving black folks. It was Clinton, and he's the mass incarceration president. And we all know from his 1994 crime bill and all that BS. So when I think of a president getting involved in anything that's involving black folks in the prison industry, I don't think of anything good. It's a reason why he's meeting up with these people, these black pastors to do this. It's a reason why he's in cahoots with Kim Kardashian about prison reform. It's a reason why, and it'll come out. It'll come out.
Get your tinfoil hats ready. Amina's going to Infowars level of conspiracy. Get your tinfoil hats ready. Go ahead.
Why does this have to be a tinfoil moment? It's not. It's just speaking facts. I'm just saying, like these black pastors, they obviously have to be.
I'm just messing with you, girl.
These black pastors, they have to be getting paid something. I wonder how much. I wonder how much those checks are that he gave them, probably under the table for the churches. You know, because churches they ain't paying taxes. The taxes exempt, so they're getting free money. You know, wonder how much. But yeah, if they really want to do prison reform, the whole entire system has to be gutted, trashed, and burned. Remove the ashes and build it back up. You can't just do prison reform and say, okay, we're gonna pardon this person and we're going to let this person come out of prison because they were wrongfully accused of something, or their sentence was too long for the misdemeanor charges they had. No, you have to have an entire system ready waiting for these people when they come out. You got people that's been sitting in prison since the 90s, the 80s, 70s, the 60s, even before that, getting older and older, that even if they hypothetically were to get out, it's better for them to at this point to remain incarcerated. Why? Because they can't function out here. They don't know how to live adult lives. You got people that got incarcerated years ago as teenagers, and they're old enough to be grandparents now. So what life would they have out here? They have no money, no assets, no property, no job experience, no skills to make a business for themselves. If they had children before they went in, their children are, grown adults with grown children of their own. So what life would they be returning to? Like, prison reform is not a cookie cutter situation. It's a situation that it has to be an entire system, as I said, build up. What do you have for these people that have been sitting in prison for years and years and years and years, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years on charges? What do you have waiting for them so their life can have normalcy out here? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I know people that were locked up personally for life sentences, which is some states is 20 years, other states is 15, other states is 25, other states is 30 years. And they came out and they didn't know how to live. Some ended up right back in there because they was it's a situation where you become incarcerated. You're in there for so long that it's become second nature, where you don't know how to function outside of that. So what services do you truly have President Trump, to offer these people to help them restore their lives? Because it's not easy. You have people that come out of prison, they go home, if they have a home to go to, with family that's still alive out here, but they don't know how to do things outside. They still washing clothes and toilets, and still saving stuff they should be throwing away because the culture and how it's set up in prison. They don't know how to function. You have to restore the entire person. You can't just give them some $1 million restitution money and give them a rinky dink job and send them on their way. It's an entire process to restore that person from an inmate to a human being. It's not an overnight process with that. Women that's incarcerated, people don't know it, but they get they the prisons, they ration out feminine hygiene products to them. So if they run out, the women have to reuse sanitary napkins, wash them out in the toilet or the sink in the cell, and reuse sanitary napkins that they're supposed to throw away. So what services do you have for even incarcerated women when they're coming out? So they're not mentally saying, "Oh, I got to reuse this." No, you don't have to reuse that anymore. You're not in there anymore. Just using an example. It's a whole mental breakdown of this situation, and it's even worse for people that were in any type of solitary confinement for any length of time, which means that out of the 24 hours a day, they're in lockdown by themselves, cut off from general population for 23 hours a day, the entire sentence. They only out for an hour to shower, eat, and right back into the cell for 23 hours. And that's torture on your mental psyche from being able to be out in the public with your family, your friends, your neighbors, business associates all your life, and being incarcerated, and then you go to a place where you're only allowed to see people for an hour a day. So 7 hours a day straight per week. These are just scenarios that you got to think of when you talk about prison reform. Talk to you're the president. Seriously, go to these prisons across the country, the county jails, go to the state prisons, the federal prisons. Go to these places on a regular basis and see how these people are living in these places. It's more than prison reform for people that's coming out, and it's not an easy process. So my thing is, if you're really going to legitimately do it, please do it right. Don't botch it up, because you got people in prison that shouldn't even be in prison due to mistaken identity, falsely accused, all this other stuff. It's a dire situation. So if you're going to do it right as a president, please do it right. If you're going to do it right. Like, you know.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like I don't feel like these pastors. I feel like a lot of them, some of them, have been ardent supporters of 45 for a while, basically since he started on the campaign trail. You know, you gotta be consistent. I feel like it's a good thing if something comes from it, but some of the things that came out of this meeting really had me wonder if this was just more of a distraction from what's going on around the president. Like he's trying to. Everybody knows that essentially when a president has a lot of investigations or things around them, the people start doing around them say, "Okay, Mr. President or Mr. President, go do something good that'll get some good press out there to negate the attention from the biggest thing hanging over his head that we talked about in this podcast before, the Mueller investigation into Russia and Russia interference." And whether a lot of people who listen to this podcast, whether you like it or not, whether you think it's fake news or not, there's been a bunch of indictments. Paul Manafort is currently going through a trial because of what he did and what he had to do with Russia getting involved in this election. So whether you think it's fake news or not, it's not. Whether you think it's a witch hunt or not, it's not. And everything that 45 does from now until that wraps up has to be looked at with a grain of salt. Because what you need to understand is everything he's doing right now is either to distract us from that or to get attention off that. It's essentially the same thing. So, I think prison reform is good. I would love for him to do it. I know a lot of this, some of this got started under Barack Obama, but like I hope that, you know, more people get released. I hope he starts doing some common sense stuff that'll get people off. Like simply what I talked about a couple weeks ago when Malcolm Jenkins said, we're happy that you let out Alice Johnson, let out all the senior citizen prisoners 65 and up that have been there forever. Do that. That's something simple. Stroke of a pen. Boom. That's something simple. You know, you want some free press, you want something good for you, do that, 45, you know. Because you're the president, you semi-control the ship right now. Nobody wants it to sink. We all live here. So, you know, do something. But don't treat prison reform and people's lives like a distraction, you know, because if you're just doing this just to get everybody distracted from what Robert Mueller is doing, don't even do it. If your whole heart ain't in it, don't even do it. Now, to the pastors that did it, specifically Pastor Scott, who went in there saying the dumbest thing that he could ever say all week, that Donald Trump has done more in almost 2 years than Barack Obama did in 8 for the black community. First and foremost, we've had this argument off air, Amina and I, but we both agree with this. I am so sick.
It wasn't an argument, it was a discussion.
Discussion, whatever. So I am so sick of people. Dumbass Scott in there too. I am so sick of people taking and saying stupid stuff like this while trying to give Trump Obama numbers. Like, because let's just be honest. President Trump has not passed the budget since he's been in office. Everything has been short-term budget solutions. All this is facts. If you think I'm saying fake news, if you think I'm anti-Trump, Google it. He has not passed the budget. The only legislative victory he has is tax cuts. You know? Fact. Super fact, actually. Super fact. And so many people come around and say, well, look at black unemployment, forgetting unemployment has been declining since 2008. Who was in office in 2008? I mean, help me out. Who was in office in 2008? Oh, that's right, Barack Obama. So if something's been declining for the last 8 years to the point where it's a record low, right? What the heck are y'all doing saying that Donald Trump had anything to do with something and he's only been in office for 2 years? If the numbers say, shoot, it's been declining since 2008 to 2010, the heck are y'all giving him credit for that for? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? See, this is my problem with a lot of people. Like, I give 45 his credit. I'm happy he let out Alice Johnson. I give him his credit for that. But I said before, it should not have taken Kim Kardashian to come up to the White House to get him to do that. But I digress. I'll give him this credit for that. The House passed something on prison reform. I'll give them this credit for that. I'll give people their credit for stuff that they deserve. Nobody deserves credit for saying, yo, black unemployment is down. Barack Obama? The economy is up. Barack Obama. Black home ownership is up. It's been increasing every year again, just like black unemployment was going down, black home ownership been increasing since 2010. Who was in office in 2010? Oh yeah, Barack Obama. Trump presidency in a nutshell. Destroy President Obama's legacy without explicitly taking anything that he did off the books that will ruin the economy. You want to know why your 401k is up? Why your stocks are up? Don't thank the person that just got there. Thank the man that was doing it for 8 years. But I understand, because for a lot of y'all to give him credit, it will require you to stop the dumbness that y'all been doing for the last 8 years. You know, it will require you to stop the dumbness. That's what it will require you to do. It really would. It will require you to stop the dumbness for 10 years. Stop you saying he didn't do anything for the black community, while a lot of y'all reap the benefits of things that he passed, like the ACA. We don't call it Obamacare. We call it what it is, the ACA. The fact that you could get a job now, Barack Obama. So again, how are y'all giving somebody that hasn't passed the budget, Pastor Scott, if I could talk to you right now? How are you giving somebody that hasn't passed the budget? How are you giving somebody that only has 2 legislative victories and has been in office for 2 years? 2 legislative victories. Credit for a rising economy that's been on the rise for the last 10 years. You know? Barack Obama. This isn't fake news. I don't do fake news. This is all facts, all Googleable facts. Black home ownership has been increasing since 2010. Black unemployment has been declining since about 2009 and 2010. And all that is facts. I don't do fake news here. You got a problem with what I said at Kyler W. Watson. I don't give people undue credit like a lot of y'all. I don't sell out. I don't run around here getting paid to sell out either. Like, no, none of that. He does what he does. I'll give him credit. Until then, nah. This is Barack Obama's economy because 45 has not passed anything that would allow you to see if this is his economy or not. It's not. It's the Obama. That's what it is. And as far as prison reform, put your whole heart in it or don't do it. It's as simple as that. Facts and nothing else. Like, got a problem? At Colin W. Watson. All facts. All right. Moving right along. All right, Amina, the next one that I know you want to talk about. Madden got caught again censoring Colin Kaepernick and making Colin Kaepernick a curse word and censoring Big Sean's verse. Your thoughts?
Well, since this is the second consecutive year that they've done this, people who don't know, Madden is the main video game that's for the NFL by EA. That's their company, the NFL. For those who also don't know, this is the second, as I mentioned when I first started talking about this answer. This is the second consecutive year that they've done this. They did it last year, 2017, on a song censoring Colin Kaepernick's name and his movement from out of a project for Madden. It was for Madden 18 last year, 2017. So this year is 2018, 2019. I've been keeping up with it for the past few days on social media as far as people's comments on posts and articles in the comment section. And people are saying, well, he deserves it because he has an open pending lawsuit against the NFL. So why would they be trying to make money off of? Look, that none of that stuff matters. The point is that they're the NFL and the powers that be. They're trying to scrub his name and legacy and memory from the entire, I would say, sports world. They don't want to. They have refused to acknowledge his movement. He started this movement next year. It'll be 3 years ago. 2019 is coming, and it'll be 3 years old. And they have yet to publicly acknowledge this movement like it needs to be. They have not recognized him for where he stands as a martyr in the sports world. They have not given him the due respects. This this will be the second season in a row where he is a free agent. He is still listed as a free agent online. He has not been signed to a team, and this is the second season now. Just like what I said for months now, for over a year now, that he will not be ever signed to a team again, and it's coming true. They don't want this lawsuit to go into his favor, which it will. And it's just a culmination of a domino effect of things that shouldn't have happened that did happen. bowing down to pressures, don't want to get talk about the real reasons why his movement he started. It's not about the flag. It's not about the anthem. It's not. He stated that, and not one veteran online that I've seen in the last 2 years is against his movement. Not one. In fact, the veterans are the ones that gave him the suggestion that if you're going to do a movement, this is the best way we feel as though you could do your movement. And they suggested to him all to kneel. The veterans are the ones that told him to do his form of protesting, to kneel. He asked them their suggestions before he did this. So if you're really gonna be mad at someone, pick it up with the veterans of America. They don't want to acknowledge the real reason behind his movement, which is police brutality against blacks and injustices across the country to people of color or POCs. And it's unfortunate that his movement, for what he set it up for, has been turned into a controversy about the U.S. flag and the Star Spangled Banner. Both need to go, of course, but that's not why he set up this movement. Yes, we know the Star Spangled Banner is racist. Yes, we know the U.S. flag is racist. Always has been for both and always will be for both. But his movement was set up for basically police brutality, and none of these people want to talk about it. It has to be addressed on a national level in the media. It has to be. You're not going to be able to push this under the rug and let it go, because the reasons why he set up his movement are going to continue. They're going to continue. We just had a few police shootings across the country in the last few months. One of which happened in right here in Pennsylvania. On the other side of the state in Pittsburgh, a 17-year-old child lost his life at the hands of a cop. But you want to push his movement away and act as though it does not exist when it does exist. They're not going to keep ignoring this movement and thinking, oh, it doesn't exist. Oh, it does exist. It does exist. And you all are going to have to answer for all your errors and transgressions. You're going to have to answer for that. Because this is totally not necessary. If you all had did what you all were supposed to do back in 2016, when you first started this movement, we were still on the San Francisco 49ers. All this mess that's been going on for the last 2 years, it wouldn't have been going on. But because you all ignored it, it's getting worse. It should have been dealt with early on. His concerns should have been addressed when his movement first started in 2016. We're going into 2019 in 5 months. Things need to be addressed. As far as me and Matt, y'all did this. Y'all did this last year about his name and movement in a project, and now y'all doing it again. So first time, fool me once, okay. Fool me twice again, my fault. Let it happen again next year, and it's not gonna be pretty. It shouldn't be pretty this year or last year, but it really shouldn't be pretty at any other point going forward. Get your act together and start acknowledging this man's movement, because it's not going to die and it's not going to go in vain. Highland can go.
All right, let me just say this, right? Madden, as somebody who's been supporting the game the last couple of years, like it's been crazy to see that you might be bowing down to the NFL. Like, I know EA, y'all have a great partnership. Y'all got that contract, that exclusive contract where y'all can make a game, and a game for with the NFL. No competition. You do you, but you got to stop, man. This is bad for you. Now, I guess you slid last year because I didn't hear that you said his name. I know he was in the game last year, but you know, I
After pressure from getting exposed, they put his name back into the project last year as well as this year. But initially, they didn't want his name into the project, but people complained about it. So they ended up putting his name back in last year and this year.
Huh. How did that slide? How did I not hear about this? But anyway, last year. But anyway, so I am very disappointed in EA. You know, I thought that, you know, y'all would be better than this. I'm very disappointed in EA. The NFL, I mean, at this point, it's like y'all just want to sign Colin Kaepernick a check because it's just like you keep proving collusion. Like, I don't even understand the arrogance you must have as an NFL executive, lawyer, or whatever to think that, oh, yeah, we just going to keep screwing over this man. And even though we got a lawsuit hanging over our heads with our name on it, we just going to keep proving that we're colluding against this man. Like, I don't understand the arrogance that takes. I really don't. Maybe it's because I'm not a rich guy, but I don't understand how arrogant you are to think, yo, we just gonna keep screwing them. You know, even though there's a lawsuit against me, hey, whatever. Like, I don't understand. So the NFL, as I've said before, will soon become the KNFL, Kaepernick's NFL, because his name is going to be on it because he's going to run the league. And that's what's going to happen because once this collusion lawsuit is finished, we're just going to do this. Like, I am so down to like just watch this burn because that's what's going to happen to the NFL. And you know, as somebody that likes the NFL, you know, it's my second favorite sport, but whatever. There's going to be a strike in 2020 or 2021, whenever that contract is up, and it's going to be hilarious to me to watch all these people that wear shirts like up here that say "I will stand for the pledge." It's going to be so funny to watch all these people not have anybody not filling up stadiums in late August and early September to watch any of their teams play because the players are tired of getting screwed over. I don't know why it took Colin Kaepernick to be the one to get screwed over before they got tired of being screwed over. But I digress. And, you know, this movement is just going to keep staying strong. The lawsuits are going to keep coming. There's ardent supporters of this. And eventually the NFL is going to have to make a decision. Sort of like baseball, like Matt will say baseball had to do. You either stand with the people who want to keep you, the same people that say, oh, sports is too political, but they watch Fox News, or you want to stay with the community that supports you by letting their sons continue to get their brains bashed in to play football. It really is that simple. You stick it. I hate to make it us versus them, but it really is this simple. It's either you're with the community that keeps supporting your sport and keeps letting their sons keep playing it, or it's the conservatives that don't really give you money. All they do is can't win with them. It's either the old or the young. It really is just this simple. Like you are either going to be with the old guard in the NFL, the old guard that says unleague, this is the we don't kneel, this is the we make political statements on our off time. It's like the NFL just doesn't get it. We're going to get to LeBron James in a minute, but you know how much good PR that is for the NBA to have a player like LeBron James opening a school, having a partnership with Akron, Ohio. Now, I'm sure there's many football players that do the same thing, but don't get as much press as that because unlike the NFL doesn't put their players out there like Tom Brady. You know, LeBron James has more Twitter followers and gets more press than Tom Brady. But hey, if you're not Tom Brady, if you're not Drew Brees, if you're not Russell Wilson, a lot of them ain't making money off the field. So this is what I keep saying. Like, you're either with the way things are going or you're with the old way. And if you're with the old way, you're gonna end up like Major League Baseball or like the NHL, far behind while the NBA continues to exceed you. And this Colin Kaepernick thing was the beginning of the end. I mean, it can back me up that this was the beginning of the end for football as the number one sport. Because the worst thing you can do, NFL, is you screw community that continues to support you by letting their kids play football. And now the stuff's hitting the fan. Kids aren't playing football as much anymore. The CTE stuff is just keeps on coming. Do anything else but play football. The stuff is hitting the fan, and it all started with Colin Kaepernick. Moving right along. Right, yeah. Joel Embiid said that he would rather be, rather be better than LeBron, better than Kawhi, better than Paul George, instead of trying to sign them and get them on the team.
Um, Joel Embiid, he's a good player for where he is in his career, but I think he should humble himself because he's not where he could be career wise. I'm not a LeBron James fan as far as his career goes, but Joel Embiid, you shouldn't be hating against him or showing that you think that you could make it far without a veteran player on whatever team you're on in your career. Humble yourself, dude. Work on playing a full season of basketball without getting injured, dude. I'm just saying, like, Sixers, y'all got a lot of work to do to get over the second round of the playoffs before y'all go start talking about what veteran players y'all think y'all better than or y'all can do better do without. Humble yourself. Um, Joel Embiid, you're a good player. I respect you, but like I said, you gotta humble yourself. As far as you wanting to win MVP, not happening next year like you wanted to. A whole lot of better players in the league. You're okay. You're decent. I respect your hustle, but you're not MVP caliber right now in your career. Maybe if you can get better, you'll be at that point. Maybe 2 to 4 years from now, but not right now. As far as you wanting MVP, as I said, not right now. I don't see it. I have a list of people that I would love to see get that award next year. They're just not one of them right now. I got to see a whole lot of improvements on your end on the court for you to get that. As for the other part of this question, as far as the Colangelo, Brian Colangelo's father, Jerry Colangelo, the Philadelphia 76ers have decided to not re-sign his contract or give him an extension, whatever you want to call it. So he will not be returning to the team in 2019 going forward. And it's just, it is what it is. It's like with any other big name family in the sports world, where when one does something, it impacts all, and they usually all get rid of them at the same time or one after another in a domino effect. This is the latter of the two of the domino effect. Brian Colangelo knew what was going on. He was running his mouth to his son and his wife, and burner accounts are made. The players' personal information ended up on these burner accounts on Twitter. Even players that were no longer a part of the Philadelphia 76ers organization, like Jalil Okafor, for example, who had left the team like a year before this stuff broke in the media. His personal information about physical examinations ended up on his burner account. And if anybody knows anything about the medical world, they know HIPAA laws are so strict. You're not even supposed to be talking about your patients at home. And if it's found out that you are, you can lose your job, your credentials, your certification, your licenses, all that based off of running your mouth. Everything's confidential. And the Colangelos just don't get it. So for Jerry Colangelo, who's the father of Brian Colangelo, to begin the boot by the Sixers in a few months, it was to be expected. It's coming. I wonder if other members of that family will be impacted personally by this. It's just a shame because the Colangelos were once, I, I don't want to say a well to do, but they were once a respected family in the NBA, but not anymore. Because of the deeds or actions of one, all are impacted, and it's not good. Negative. So I to keep your mouth shut, keep moving. I'm moving. I don't know what the deal is. Stop talking. Like,
All right.
I tend to think that
I
maybe
tend to
he won't
think
be
that
playing
maybe Tony
running his
Blanchard.
mouth more than his wife and his son, being as though now that other relatives of his are being cut off from the Sixers organization. And it's gonna come out. You know, things don't all come out at one time. It comes out in batches and phases. So we'll find out more as time goes on. But for a father and son pair to begin the boot, I'm surprised that they didn't let. I'm surprised they didn't fire both of them. They let Jerry, they let Brian resign, and they're gonna let his father go at the end of the year. I'm surprised they didn't fire both of them on the spot based on this match. I guess it was some type of mercy because of who they are. But oh well. Tyler can say what he has to say about his Sixers.
All right, about time. It's about time you let your Warriors love come in again. All right, listen.
What?
To Joel Embiid, right?
What about
Joel
my
Embiid.
Warriors?
We're gonna get to your not today. Your Warriors are
Oh,
good.
I thought don't you play?
Oh, listen. So the to the Sixers, right? Joel Embiid. Listen, I respect the hustle. I think he can be an MVP candidate because here the next year he's the best player on the Sixers. He's a top 3, top 4 player in the Eastern Conference. I mean, LeBron James is gone. So, I mean, I struggle outside of Kyrie Irving to find somebody better than him in the East. in Kawhi Leonard, but that's about it. So that's third in the league. He's better than Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'll fight anybody on that one. At Kylan W. Watson. I think
You got Victor on the Pacers.
Huh?
You got Victor Oladipo on the Pacers.
Oh, he's better than Oladipo. So anyway, Joel Embiid can definitely win MVP. He's definitely improving. He's in the gym. He's doing what he needs to do to put the work in. Unlike Ben Simmons, who's too busy working Kendall Jenner. But I digress. I think that he's going to be a good player. I think the Sixers are going to be the number one seed this year. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. I think Markelle Fultz is also in the gym working with Embiid. I think that Markelle Fultz is going to come in and be that consistent scorer that the Sixers need, that the Sixers are going to surprise some people. I'm telling y'all right now, I've been saying this since February, there's going to be 2 parades down Broad Street next year. There's going to be one for the Eagles and one for the Sixers. The Sixers, this is exactly what the Eagles did. They made some stealth moves to just get better. I mean, now, granted, this time they don't have an Alshon Jeffrey or something to come through and like be the big person. I just feel like this is the Sixers year. Like last year they got a taste of it. This year they're gonna go even farther and going at least to the conference finals, maybe even to the finals. Sixers Celtics 6-7. That's what I'm saying. Amina probably thinks I'm crazy. It's going to be a Philadelphia finals. I've been saying it since the end of the season. It's going to be a Philadelphia final. The Sixers versus the Warriors, 6-7. That's what I'm saying. Amina probably is thinking I'm crazy, but it is what it is. 6-7. And, the Sixers are going to do well. And as far as the Colangelos, I mean, good riddance, The Sixers need to move on. They're in a different era now. The rebuild era is over. It's time to return the Sixers back to their rightful place as being owned by the team and owned by Philadelphia.
Warriors versus Celtics.
And not by the NBA. We're off that right now, Warriors fan. It's time for the Sixers to go back to what they were, being controlled by the team and by the city and not by the NBA. I don't think a lot of people remember that, the Sixers were actually taken over by the NBA in order for the Colangelos to take control of them. It was never a Sixers or City of Philadelphia agreement that would come. The NBA just decided we're tired of the Sixers sucking, so we're going to send somebody over there to make sure that they don't suck anymore. And that's what happened, and now the Sixers don't suck, and now Colangelo is out of here. So I'm happy about that, and that's facts. I'm just, as far as Joel Embiid, I like his confidence to say he wants to be better than LeBron James and Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and that's what I expect, because the Sixers have to keep improving in order to land that prize free agent. So I totally agree. I'm not going to hate. It's exactly what the Warriors did. They kept growing their talent, and it took Steph Curry and them a while to develop to where they're winning championships and become the machine that they are. And that's the Sixers. The Sixers are going to do the same thing, whether you agree or not. So yeah, moving right along. Matt's not here to do his baseball diamond thing. So it's back to being Kai goes around the baseball diamond. So the Phillies were able to get Wilson Ramos, a relief pitcher from the Toronto Blue Jays. The Phillies are way ahead of schedule. I've been saying this for a while, but the Phillies are way ahead of schedule. They're overachieving. Hopefully they can make the playoffs, because since they made the playoffs, I believe 2009 was the last time they made the playoffs. So that would be great to see, great for the city. The Phillies in the playoffs with the Sixers and the Eagles defending the titles. And the Yankees and Red Sox are doing the series right now. The Yankees are down to the current series that's going. Yankees fans up here in Syracuse, so I got to keep them happy. It's getting, the baseball season is winding down and it's getting more and more interesting. The Vince Carter question: has Vince Carter doomed himself to be just one of those guys that had all the potential and no titles? Go ahead, Amina. This is your question. Send all the
It's just people.
hate
We can
her
go talk
way,
about it.
Toronto Raptors fans. Not my way. Send all the hate her way. She the one that said your boy's going to be another loser without a ring, not me. Go ahead, Amina.
Vince Carter, member of the 1998 NBA draft. He's been in the NBA ever since. Atlanta Hawks, he's on their team now. This is his eighth team. And he's going into another season without a ring to his name. He has so much potential over the years that I don't think I truly developed when I look at his career over the years since I was growing up. What I really think needed to happen to him is that he needed to get rooted and stabilized with a championship caliber team. And during that time, the only teams that were championship caliber teams that actually were winning in his early days of his career were the San Antonio Spurs and the Los Angeles Lakers, and eventually the Celtics came back. I think he needed to go to one of those three teams to really get the most out of his career. Because all during his career, he's been on these rinky-dink teams. He's been on the Nets. He's been on the Kings. He's now with the Hawks, the Raptors, teams that ain't did much of anything ever, with or without him. And it's stunted his career to the point where he's been in the NBA for 20 years now and has no ring. It it it, it goes to what it goes with what I always say. How history is impacted based on where players go, what they do, what they don't do, and what doesn't go on. He needed to go somewhere where it would have been automatic ring for him from playing with them throughout seasons. I don't know what was going on with the trades back then, as far as him possibly when he left the Raptors, he should have went somewhere to the Spurs or the Lakers and played with Kobe Bryant and Shaq, or went to go play with Tony Parker and Tim Duncan. That would have been better for him. But the fact that he's actually out in the open now, saying that he's not ring chasing, he's not after ring, and how he wants to actually win it, regardless to what team he's on, his career is done now. In my opinion, like he's actually openly admitting that he doesn't want a ring, so he's just playing just to collect checks. So he just has to announce his retirement and get out the NBA at this point. There's no point. And for those that don't know about Vince Carter, he was actually drafted by the Warriors. So when I think about it, his whole career and how if he had stayed on the Warriors for 20 years, he could have had three rings by now. But the Warriors in '98 were a totally different team than they are now. And they were definitely not in the position they were 20 years ago that they are now. And the team owners at the time and the coach at the time and the general manager at the time, none of them saw need for him. So on his draft night, they just traded him to the Toronto Raptors, and the rest was history. Then he went to seven other teams after. It's just disappointing because this man has so much potential to get at least, in my opinion, three rings at least at the minimum. Maybe two, but three at the minimum. I think he had the potential. He had the drive, the power. He went into the NBA a young firepower dude in his very early 20s. I think, I think he was maybe even 19, maybe 20 when he got into the league. And people had high hopes for him. And the fact that he's been in the NBA this long and he's going to retire is a part of the ringless club that, that of so many NBA players are a part of. They had high talents and great potential. They retired after spending so many years in the league and came out with not one ring. It's very sad to see him be a part of that club. He joins Barkley, Iverson, all these people that should have rings but don't. But he's humble enough to openly admit that he does not want to join a championship caliber team. That he rather ride it out until he retires on these rinky-dink teams and to actually get a ring without chasing. So I gotta respect him for that. I gotta respect him for not doing what a whole lot of people in the NBA are doing lately. Hopping into championship caliber teams because their real team they know isn't going anywhere. So it shows that it's still some old school mentality with him as far as the NBA for the 90s and 2000s, where people actually stayed on their teams still and rocked out through the good, bad, and ugly no matter what. So I got to give it to him, Vince Carter, for showing that he's not with this new school mentality. But it is going to be disappointing when he retires to know that this man does not have a ring. Hell, Dirk Nowitzki was in his draft class with him in '98, and he even has a ring from being on the same team his whole career, the Dallas Mavericks. Two totally different players, but nevertheless, one got a ring and the other doesn't. Disappointing. But for however long he's in the league, 1 year, 3, 5, it doesn't matter. I gotta give it to him. He's one of the best. He's one of the top 25 basketball players of my time from when I was growing up. Everyone that's my age or older knows about Vince Carter. That's an NBA fan, and regardless of whether he gets a ring or not, he's talked about in conversations. And to me, that means that he'll have a lasting impact on people as far as basketball wise. So I say rock out in Atlanta, do what you want, do what you gotta do with the Hawks, and whatever plans you have for retirement, I respect them. 'Cause it's about time he move on to do something else in his life. But it will be disappointing, as I said, that he'll be getting out of the league with no ring and part of the ringless club, unfortunately. But Tyler can go.
Let me just say that I respect Vince Carter and everything, and I think that he should enjoy the twilight of his career because if he wants a ring, then he can get a ring. I mean, he can start with Atlanta and then go somewhere else. It seems that he really likes going and being in the mentor role as far as teams. So, and Atlanta definitely needs a veteran to help them win games. I mean, I don't expect him to make the playoffs or anything with Atlanta, but he could surprise me. But I definitely think that either this year, maybe not this year, but I think next year will probably be his last year in the NBA. I think he needs to go somewhere where he will have a chance. I think he can go to San Antonio or somewhere where, like, okay, they're not there yet, but they're like a piece away, like somewhere he can do that. And so that way he can at least have a chance at a ring. So, I think that Vince Carter is a great player. He's not like any of these other players that just join in just to get a ring and stuff. I fully am on board with him doing what he wants to do, being a mentor. I don't think he'll join the Ringless Club, but even if he does, he's like one of the most accomplished members of the Ringless Club outside of Karl Malone, AI, and Charles Barkley and John Stockton. But I think that he deserves one more chance to be a bench performer for a good team and maybe get a chance at that ring. Because like Amina said, I mean, the last three people we talked about last week, Jason Terry, Dirk Nowitzki, and Vince Carter. Two of those, 2/3 of that have rings, and I think Vince Carter is a travesty that he doesn't have a ring. And I think that he should have a ring or have a chance to get a ring. So moving right along to our last topic, thoughts on LeBron James opening a school, Amina? Go ahead.
I respect LeBron James outside of the basketball court as a Warriors fan, diehard lifetime Warriors fan. I respect his hustle. I respect how he does with his family. But I'm going to be honest that with him open up a school and say some things, not a lot, just a few that most people are not stating. When these black celebrities open up schools across the country or wherever, they're either a charter school or a public school. Now, I'm an education advocate. I'm all about, children and their school life. I appreciate the gesture. Gesture. I know he means well, but due to the fact that it's not a private school, the curriculum is still dictated by the U.S. government, which means that the U.S. Department of Education, Betsy DeVos and Donald Trump are still telling him, are still going to tell him what you can teach or what you can't teach, what you can promote, what you can't promote at your school. The Ohio State Department of Education is still going to be invested in his school. He's not totally free to do whatever he wants in his school. He's being honest, because it's not a private school. Parents aren't paying tuition, so they have no say so. I'm just speaking of facts and no one's speaking on, which means that these black children that are going to this school, they're still going to be inundated by, being honest, a white supremacy curriculum that doesn't cultivate their minds, as far as their culture, their people, their history, none of it. And that's where I draw the line at. With people like him opening up schools that aren't privately based. It's a good gesture, yes. They're getting services of this and that, but at what price? It's still a public school. And public schools in America are pipelines to the prison industrial complex. Being honest. I just feel better with our people opening up schools independently, ran and owned, where we can not only open up schools on our own terms, but control and full what is taught and what isn't taught to our children. Because our black children need different curriculums and different services to other children because of who we are as people and our background, our history. I just hope that his school is just open, that it doesn't turn into what Oprah Winfrey's experiment that she did in Africa turned out to be, where children were getting abused and whatnot on the premises, and teachers were doing inappropriate things, financial ruin, and that's. I hope it doesn't turn out to that. I hope it doesn't turn out to be like some people's schools where they open them and a few years later they're closed because of mismanagement of finances. It's not an easy task to open up a school on your own finances and to keep it open for generations to come. It's even a more harder task. You gotta take each year by storm. But I congratulate him for his efforts, but I just would have felt better if it was private school. Because at least the curriculum would have been able to be chosen. It's not in this case. Like Puffy's charter school in New York, Puffy has zero say so because it's not private school. So yes, the school is his school, but he has no say so what goes on in classrooms. I'm not concerned about free uniforms, free meals, free service to parents. I'm concerned about what exactly are the children being taught in the classroom, what curriculums are being used, what information are in these textbooks and these workbooks and these resource books, what videos, the lessons are they watching? That's what I'm more concerned. I'm not concerned about the freebies that they get, handouts. I'm, I'm concerned about the education that they're receiving. And because the school he opened, talk about LBJ, is for not for all children, it's for underprivileged children. Typically, when people do things for underprivileged children, they get the bare minimum. So I would hope it's not that case. But like I said, I appreciate them, but I just have very great concerns about the, the education that they'll be receiving. Because the public school system is not where it's at for our children in the black community. I give this.
Let me just say this. I'm proud of LeBron James for opening. I think that it is great to see another black man, using his money to better his community. And I'm sure there are a lot of athletes that do that, but I'm very proud of the NBA and LeBron James. LeBron James taking his money and doing something good for Ohio, even though he's now repping LA. It's good to see that he's still doing things for his community. And it's a good thing because it shows that, his heart will always be in Ohio, despite the fact that he is in LA. And I think I've said before on this podcast, if I haven't, maybe I've said it off air. I feel like he went to LA because LA gave him the best chance to raise his profile outside of basketball. Now he's LeBron James. Everybody knows who he is. But because he's in a bigger market that's not Cleveland, Ohio, now he has different things that he can do that will allow that to happen. And I'm proud of him. My I don't know how the state of Ohio runs its public school system, so I'm not going to. I don't know Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, how we run our school system. So I won't pretend. I won't pretend to be an expert on how Ohio runs its public school system to know anything about that. I think that if LeBron James has his hand in something, it means it's going to be very, very successful. And I'm a fan of that man on the court and off the court. I just, sometimes I just don't like the fact of the and everything, but I respect the man. I like the man on and off the court. And I'm not a hater. I just, think that, you shouldn't be the GOAT if you have a bad record in the finals. And I know it's not all his fault, but he's still a great player, top three. And he's top three off the court, top two, top maybe number one off the court. I mean, both him and Michael Jordan do a lot for their communities. And so I'm a little sad that, once you get a high profile and you go up, you got people attacking, saying that you're just doing this just to do it and different things. But athlete that raises the profile not only of himself, but uplifts his community and also does better for the NBA. I mean, I'm just happy that the NBA is so progressive, and LeBron James takes what he's earned and does what most people should do: get back to your hometown. And I can't hate on that. I can't, say like, oh, it's still run by blah 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 school system again. I don't live in Ohio, never been to Ohio a day in my life. I don't know how Ohio runs, how Akron, Ohio runs its public school system. So I'm not going to, get on that. We had a lesson this week in my classes about, talking about what you know and not about what you don't know. So I'm not going to talk about what I don't know as far as the Ohio and how Ohio runs its public school system. Maybe next time he'll open a private school or do what he wants to do. But hey, if this is the start of a network of LeBron James schools, so be it. I'm happy for the man. I'm happy for the brother. And I hope he continues to take that power that he has and things outside of opening schools. Maybe, I'm not saying run for office, but maybe turn his attention to other things that affect the community as Black people as a whole and shine his light on that. That's what I would encourage him to do, and that's what he's been doing. And I really can't say nothing. I mean, he's leaving the blueprint for a new generation of athletes, the activist athletes that we need now in 2018, just based on this culture that we have. More athletes should put their voices up to something, stand for something, or fall for everything. Like, more athletes should be doing stuff, should be speaking up, should be opportunities. And I'm not saying you need to get press. That's not what I'm saying. But just do something. Use your, this podcast. Use your platform, whether it's as little as something like this, with a medium-sized podcast, whatever. Use your platform. Whether you're LeBron James Watson, whether you're Amina, like, use your platform. That's what I want to leave y'all with. Just use your platform, because you never know who you uplifting, who you encouraging by using your platform and using your voice. So I'm grateful for LeBron James, and I hope he continues to do what he wants to do, and he never shuts up and dribble. All right, y'all, that's it. That wraps up our podcast for today, episode 95. Look forward to episode 96 next Saturday. Great rest of your weekend. Stay cool, especially if you're on the East Coast with a little bit of a heat wave that we got. Going to be in the 90s or close to the 90s this weekend. So definitely stay cool. Have a great deuces.